Okay, in this data set, I have some information about salaries and job categories, among other things. Picking job category because that has 3 categories in it, and we're going to take a look at dummy coding. Well, if I just try and run a regular regression here, analysis, regression, linear, and I put those 2 variables in there, beginning salary and employment category or job category. I've already got those in there from before, but if I just put those in, you can see, can't see, I'll move this over to your screen, that I do get a regression model, and it just adds a constant and an employment category. Now that's what you're thinking about here is if you go up by one category, but this really is not a numerical kind of thing. You just have different categories. So that's really not what we want. We want to do something where we can compare. Well, maybe the means would be the best thing to compare between groups. So to do that, let me go back to this window and say what we want to do is take these job categories 3, 1s, and 2s and convert them into a dummy coded variable. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go to transform. This is really the purpose of this video. Create dummies and get that over on this screen. And I want to do that for okay, sorry, I backed that back up because I had a couple of things already done. I'm going to take the employment category and move it over here. That's the variable that I want to make categories for. I'm going to create main effect dummy variables, and I'm going to give it, I have to give it some kind of root name. I'll just call it job. You could call it job cat or whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to click OK. And so now if we go back and look at our data, we have 3 new variables, job 1, job 2, and job 3. I'm going to do something else here. I'm not too pleased with those names. Go back to the job categories, and 1 was clerical. So I'm just going to change the name of that right here to clerical. Just makes better sense to me. And the second one was custodial. And the third one was manager. And I could get all of those because they were, when they were entered in, someone had the good sense to put the values in there and tell you what they were. Okay, so now I can run a regression. And I'm going to come back and say, it actually created 3 dummy variables. Now remember, if you have 3 variables, you only really need k minus 1. So what you'd want to do here is don't include one of the variables, and the one you don't include then would become your reference group. And so I'm going to let clerical be my reference group, and so I'm not going to enter that into the model. Analyze. You do have to eliminate one of them, but it could be any one of them. Just to be clear on that. And so now I have beginning salary, and instead of employment category, I'm going to put custodial and manager on here and click OK. And now what you see that I have here is a constant, 14,000 whatever. And so what this means is that is, if you put 0 in for both of the other ones, that would be the average for clerical workers. Custodial would have 14,096 plus the 981. So the mean of custodial would be just about 15,000, the 14,096 plus 981. And then managers, you compare back to the constant. The 981 doesn't make any sense, any difference anymore. It's the 14,096 plus 16,161 would be the average salary for managers. And that's it for this brief introduction to dummy coding.